Good morning, East-West Health family. We've got one joining us today. Welcome. This is Erin K, health coach here in Park City. Reagan is traveling today, so he wanted me to talk with you about changing your life with, drumroll, time-restricted eating. So I will be starting to talk about time-restricted eating, but let me first start with introducing myself. My name's Erin K. I'm the health coach up in Park City. And when Reagan said talk about time-restricted eating, I kind of giggled because he has been talking about time-restricted eating for quite some time now. It's one of his favorite topics. So I know you might have listened to him talk about this before. So I'm going to give a different spin to it, the health coaching perspective a little bit. I'm not a provider, so I won't get into too much science, but I have a great webinar planned for you. So personally, I started time-restricted eating back in about the summer. And I can't remember when I started. I remember Reagan started to talk about time-restricted eating, but I have mom brain now. I had a baby a year and a half ago, so time is going by so fast. So I can't remember. I think I started in about the summer. I was having trouble losing the baby weight. I wasn't where I was at. I was struggling with getting back into my routines. And so I remember Reagan saying this right when he started talking about time-restricted eating. Just if you don't do anything at all, do time-restricted eating. So that's where I started. And we're going to get into a little bit at the end, some tips. You don't want to start this and like 5 other habits all together. So that's a big advice from me because I just started with this first. Then I went to an exercise routine and made that a priority. Now I'm on home cooking and making that a priority. But I'll tell you about my personal benefits a little bit later. So let's jump on in, okay? And today's objective, so what I want to get across today is the difference between time-restricted eating and intermittent fasting. Like, is there a difference? Number 2, we'll understand a little bit of the science behind time-restricted eating and intermittent fasting, some cool little studies that have been done, and a scientist that we really like to follow. Number 3, you can determine if time-restricted eating is right for you. And I will say along with a provider, and I will remind you about that again. And number 4, how to start. You know, how do we start time-restricted eating? Just like back in the summer when I heard Reagan talk about it first, like, how did I start? And we want you to be successful for, long-term lifestyle, okay? So the biggest thing about time-restricted eating and intermittent fasting is that really intermittent fasting is this big umbrella term for fasting in general, okay? And time-restricted eating is one of those types of fasting. So really, there's no difference between them. It's just when you are time-restricting your eating, you only have the window of eating time. All right. And this is a type of fasting. There's a lot of other types of fasting. There's longer fasts, there's water fasts, there's 5-day fasts, there's, you only eat 6 hours of the day. So intermittent fasting, umbrella term, time-restricted eating is a type of this of intermittent fasting. Okay, so what does time-restricted eating mean? It means your eating cycle begins the moment you put anything into your mouth that requires a metabolic activity. So calories or no calories, so anything but water, really. Coffee, bulletproof coffee, of course, kale and eggs, a breakfast smoothie, tea, anything. As soon as you put something in your mouth, your window has started, okay? So you have a window of time to eat. That's time-restricted eating. You are limiting to a certain window, all right? Don't think about your window right now, all right? Listen to the content, and then I have an activity at the end so that you can figure out what your window might be if time-restricted eating is right for you. Okay, so let's move on to digging deeper. Okay, now this scientist's name right here, it's really long. They call him Sachin Panda, and he explores genes and molecules and cells that keep the whole body on this circadian clock. All right, your clock, your circadian clock is your internal program that mediates daily rhythms. Okay, so it's your internal program. Now, Panda and his team of scientists have done a lot of studies, they've done a lot of research, and they found a link between our circadian clock and health. All right, a positive, good working clock, you're going to have better health. Okay, and then obviously the opposite would be true. So with time restricted eating, we can get more on a good rhythm. Now, Panda did a study with mice, and I know Reagan talks a lot about studies, and you might have heard of this one before. And I have a great visual on the next slide, I think it is. Yeah. So, but what I want to point out with this study that Panda did was mice which eat within a set amount of time, so either they have an 8-hour window up to a 12-hour window, they resulted in slimmer, healthier mice. Rather than those mice who ate the same number of calories, same foods, but in a larger window of time. Okay, so it really is so important, the when. Okay, the when is important. What and how much you eat, we're going to talk about that on the next slide. It's so important too. But this study shows us that when you eat is important as what one eats. All right, and right there, if the benefits of this time-restricted eating holds true in humans, it could have impacts on treating overeating disorders, diabetes, and obesity. So we're going to talk in another couple slides if this time-restricted eating might be right for you. Okay, let's do the visual because I'm a visual person. Okay, so you might have seen this before. We love this infographic here at East West Health because we're visual people. We love to see what something might do to us if we try it out. So in words, this case study, it didn't matter what or how much these mice ate. It mattered when. So that's the results from the study. Cool results. Okay, here's my health coaching bit. Here's our East West Health comment on that. For optimal results of health and wellness goals, what and how much you eat is just as crucial. So if you put all three of those together, you're going to get optimal results. What you eat, how much, when. Okay, so second bullet point there, kind of some interesting percents here, some data. Mice that ate the same food, but ones that on the time restriction had 28% less body mass and 70% less fat. That is a high number of less fat and body mass. So that third bullet point there, the time-restricted eating stabilized and reversed the progression of metabolic diseases in mice that already had obesity or type 2 diabetes tendencies. So you can reverse what you're going through, all right? And we can be there to help you as a team. So just a fun little visual. Look at the obese mice at the top, okay? He eats a high-fat diet. All right. He eats whenever he wants. He's really obese. He eats time restricted. He's an obese mice, but he's fit. He's more fit. Okay. Now, second row there, lean mice. Okay. Skinny little guy, high sugar, high fat. Whenever he wants to eat, he's going to become obese. But if he's time restricted, he's a lean, fit mice. Okay. Wow. That last row, a lean mice start out with high fat, but only time restricting on the work days, like Monday through Friday, 5 days. And then on the weekend, ate whatever he want. He's still lean and fit. Okay, and I love to bring up this point right here. Don't think you have to do this 7 days a week. Okay, you can do this 4 or 5 days a week to start out with. I'm going about 5 or 6 right now. Okay, so make a realistic goal and work up to it. All right, moving along. Okay, if this did this for mice, what can it do for us? So you could benefit from this if you're, pre-diabetic. You already have type 2 diabetes. Your blood work came back through us and you have high cholesterol, or through any blood work, but your blood work came back and you're dealing with some cholesterol issues. Okay, maybe you have a metabolic disorder. It's any disorder in the body that your cells aren't working properly. You're not digesting or storing or utilizing your food well. You're not absorbing it well. Okay. Fatty liver disease. So your liver is not functioning well. Okay. Time restricted eating could really benefit patients with these types of things that they're facing. And it's not too late to start. Okay, but ask a provider if this is right for you. This is a big point, starred down there. A provider can decide with you if a time-restricted program is the right approach for you. So speak with your provider, then get with your health coach, and how are you going to implement this? What strategies do you need in place to make this right for you? And I'm going to do a little activity with you that you can jumpstart this, okay? All right, the stoplight picture, okay? This is a great little visual. So think back, okay, now circadian rhythms. Think back to that earlier slide on Panda's team, the connection with the circadian clock and health, okay? How does time-restricted eating fit into the rhythms of our body, all right? There's a specific time for every metabolic activity. And our organs' clocks respond to when we eat. So it's really important that time-restricted eating goes along with our rhythms as well. Okay, there's a specific time that our body and our organs want us to eat, and that they respond optimally when we do that. And then they respond optimally when we don't eat, when we have that fast, that break. So think of your internal program, your clock, like a stoplight. Okay, when those stoplights go down, there's traffic jams, there's accidents. All right, that's your health deteriorating. Okay, it can build up of undesired byproducts, toxins stay in, you're not releasing, you're not digesting. It puts stress on our cells. It could lead to chronic diseases. If this is happening over time, chronically, years and years without it being addressed, it can lead to chronic diseases. So I love that. Think of your internal program as a stoplight. You want it to be efficiently working like clockwork, okay? Yay, the benefits, how this can change your life, okay? We can address obesity, okay? Just like me, my fat went down, my lean mass went up, okay? I've been tracking my weight. I've been losing weight. I've been fitting into my jeans, okay? This was a big one for me, okay? Some other issues that time-restricted eating can address: your glucose intolerance, insulin resistance. So if you're pre-diabetic or you're diabetic, time-restricted eating is a great start. Talk to your provider. Gut dysbiosis, so gut imbalances, heart diseases or heart issues, pain or chronic inflammation throughout the body can lessen it. Liver diseases, fatty liver like we talked about. It'll help your liver detox more. Once you kind of get started with time-restricted eating, you can start with our East-West Health Liver Detox. That's a great next step. Talk to your provider and your health coach. It can also help reduce your risk for cancer, breast cancer specifically, looking at that. But really, we're treating that inflammation in the body. That's what's going to lessen your cancer risk overall. Okay, cholesterol issues, high cholesterol, like we talked about, looking at blood work. And if I'm facing high cholesterol, time-restricted eating can really help with that. Sleep disorders, quality of sleep, duration, and then compromised muscle function. So if your endurance is down, you can't go as long, time-restricted eating might help with that. All right. So I kind of gave you some personal story already, but that was my first habit to start back when I, after baby. And it's really helped me become leaner. I've gotten into my jeans for the first time after baby, like right after I started time restricted eating. I was like, it was maybe not quite a month. And I was like, I'm going to try on those jeans. And they fit. It was so awesome. And I was like, all right, keep going, And then that's when I was like, I can start exercising. I'm ready. I've got enough energy for that. Got myself onto a routine that worked for me, and I prioritize it. Now my January goal is more home cooking and starting that routine of more planning, shopping, prepping. So I've seen big benefits, and I hope you do too. I'd love to hear your benefits. So please share them on our Facebook page or Instagram, or email us or call us. This next slide, what's your window? So Reagan's window, he eats from 10 to 6. I eat from about 7 to 7. And that 7 is because of my coffee in the morning. That's my morning routine with my husband. After we both go to the gym, we sit down with each other and we have a little coffee before he leaves. I probably don't eat anything till almost like, sometimes 10 or 11. So, sometimes I have bulletproof coffee. Sometimes I just have normal coffee, maybe a little bit of almond milk in there. But that's why my window's a little large right now. And I say 7, sometimes it's 6, but I'm going 12 hours right now. My goal is to get that down to 11 soon and really stop at 6. It's just getting home in time. Jetty, our health coach down in Salt Lake, 9:30 to 8. Christy, the health coach in St. George, 8 to 7. Hugh Jackman to the right, he intermittent fasting, he time restricted his eating to, he does this a lot. This is kind of like the one celebrity that was the first to come out with, I fast or I time restrict my eating, and he has a 10 to 6 window, just like Reagan. So don't think about your window right now. Don't stress. I want to put you through a little activity. Okay, so here's some tips, and then we'll look at an activity. Okay, so some tips. Don't start the habit right away. I've told you this. Track your habits first. I'm going to do that with you right now on this next slide. It's an activity. So don't worry about anything right now. You don't need to do all this at once. Okay, let's first see what we're doing right now. So after analyzing your current eating window, you're going to then choose a reasonable time window you can adhere to for at least the next 90 days. Okay? And then, so you're going to look at least a 12-hour window. That's your minimum, like me. And then you can work your way up to 16 hours is like a good window. Some people go longer, but probably not for long periods of time, maybe just short periods of time. But 12 to 16 of the fasting time, most of the time sleeping. So you can increase 1 hour at a time, and that's my next goal. Don't start other lifestyle habits at the same time, and a liver cleanse may be recommended prior or after. Everyone's different, so speak to your provider. Don't start anything until your provider has cleared it for you. Okay, so here we go. We're going to analyze our current eating window. Okay, you might have seen this card with webinars that we've done, or in your health coaching book from your health coach if you're a wellness patient, or you might have seen this somewhere else in our clinic. But I want you to focus on the when to eat column there. Okay, presently, when do you eat? Write that down right now or think about it. Okay, when do you eat right now? Don't think about when you want to eat or what you want to do in the future. When do you eat right now? What's the first time you put something in your mouth right now? Okay, that's your start of your time. Well, that's the start of your window right now, presently. Okay, when do you stop? Be realistic. Don't judge yourself. Just when do you stop eating normally? Okay, that's your window right now. Now I want you to kind of check yourself and go, all right, this is my window now. What do I want it to be in the future? Okay, are you already doing time restricted eating? Awesome, good for you. Okay, maybe you want to Maybe your future when to eat now is you want to up it. You want to go 1 more hour of your fast. Okay, so write down your reasonable window that you could adhere to for the next 90-day goal. Here we go. And then if you'd like to write down real quick some strategies for breakfast, lunch, dinner in that window that you just picked, go ahead and do that now. This is your next 90 days. And I just spilled coffee all over me. All right, well, I hope you have an awesome window that you've picked out. Okay, reasonable. Talk to your health coach. All right, ask your provider if this is a good start for you. And make up some strategies for breakfast, lunch, dinner in your window. 90 days, you got this, okay? If you'd like this card, or if you have any questions or you want to reach out, I'll give you my email. It's kind of long. ACU, East West, Park City @gmail.com. One more time. ACU, East West, Park City @gmail.com. I had so much fun with you today, and I hope that you learned a little bit more about time-restricted eating, if it's right for you, how to start, how to reflect on what you're doing now and what you want to do in the future. You got this. Reach out to us, please, and let us know what your window is for the future 90-day goal. All right? Have a great Wednesday. Reagan will be back next week. Happy Hump Day, friends. Thanks for joining me, and I'm going to sign off. And if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great one. Bye-bye.